Let us help you through the appeal process.
Call Sokolov Law at 800-561-3905. That's 800-561-3905. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League. It's Monday Night Football, starring Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Derek Carr, and Gary Watt. It's a battle for the best in the AFC West. California just about Saturday. Raiders and the Bulls down at the field. Here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Steve, I asked a couple players what they did during the delay, and they said not much of anything. They said they just kind of relaxed, listened to music. I asked Keenan Allen if he stayed in gear, if the Chargers stayed in gear, or if they undressed on tape and took all off to start over like Burger McFarland suggested that he would have done. And Keenan said, no way. That we would have had to put it all back on. So they just said we just sat there in full gear, in full pads, and we waited it out.
All right, Lisa, thank you. And also not a great start for those with red-eye flights, but concession sales are really brisk. This crowd will be even more fired up. But as it pertains to the game, the Raiders have not scored a first-quarter touchdown all season. They've gotten behind every game. How's it impact the game tonight, Coach?
I don't think it has that much of an impact. You know, we heard what Susie said. These guys, they have prepared all week, and they were ready to go. They get to the stadium early. Another 30 minutes, not a big factor.
Yeah, this is a big game. I think when they had to wait an hour, 2 hours, they are amped up to play this game that has a lot of pitches. Don't give their best performance tonight.
Tell me again who's the home team here tonight. I see
Right. Who's the home team?
The Raiders came out. Exactly.
Raiders are saying we were here first. Rams had a bit here in LA, but this was our town first, and they have showed up tonight.
I'll tell you what, I played for the Raiders. I played in Oakland. We used to go down to San Diego. I remember the first time I ran out of the tunnel at Jack River Stadium, I was going, we get the Coliseum? We can all play? No, these fans come as well as anybody.
Staring at Roundtree, Daniel Carlson set to kick it off. In the end, it will be a 35-minute delay. Scheduled kick.
Steve Bann. Hey, you see the Chargers get booed? They got booed at SoFi. Oh, by all the Raider fans. Hey, Trev. You see Charger fans get booed? I mean, Chargers get booed at their own place. Hey, dude, that was a great picture. Thank you. Hey, Steven, big sills don't go to soccer stadiums. Big sills don't go to soccer stadiums, dude. Hey, how Soldier Field, man?
He's going to see Eckler take the handle out of the gun. We see it look like he's going to go outside, stick his foot in the ground, get north and south. They want to own the line of scrimmage, not the fourth quarter, just the fourth quarter, and right off the bat.
Steven, I think LA is a Raiders place.
See our referee, he's already been busy. Full start. Offense, number 71. Five-yard penalty. Ball start on the Chargers. And that Raider crowd making it difficult already. When we talked to Brandon Staley,
Look at that.
he admitted the Chargers are prepared to go a silent count for their own home game.
Look at that. They're going silent count in their own building. Wow. I've never heard that like that.
With the Chargers the last 5 years, he knows everything there is to know about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. That wasn't necessarily making it any easier. He knows the challenges
This is a defense. Defense. In the end. I keep it to the quarterback. Five-yard penalty. Second down.
to see some change of tempo from the Chargers. Again, Joe Lombardi is their new offensive coordinator, comes over from New Orleans and loves
Amen.
to change tempos. And he's got a
They should do everything they can to hire Bruce Bochy.
He can orchestrate that only in his second year.
If LaRussa can take a team to a number 2 seeding in the American League, Bochy can do the same thing. He's 10 years younger than LaRussa. Oh, we'll talk about the playoffs. Yeah, they're going to fire the manager. I mean, what the fuck? How long before, Steven, the general manager gets heat? I mean, he's been there for how long now? 7 years? What the fuck, dude? Everybody keeps telling me AJ Preller is some sort of like guru dude. Well, really? Right, man. How's this guy AJ Preller keeping his job? Or Ryan Pace? Yeah, Ryan Pace too with the Bears, man. Never do it. Yeah, Bochy's not taking that job. You know why Bochy won't take that job? Because he don't respect. Dude, if you had Theo Epstein in the building, okay, in San Diego, that's a different story. You know what I mean? You got Theo Epstein in there. I'm going to listen to that GM. AJ Preller's won nothing. Nothing. He's won nothing. Look at this kid, Justin Herbert, man. He's just driving his team down the field. He is so good. Hey, by the way, that game last night lived up to the billing. That was damn awesome last night. And they traded up for Tua. Remember the T-shirts? Tank for Tua. That's why you don't see any more of them. Steven, that's why you don't see those old managers in there anymore. Same thing in the NFL. You don't see the old school coaches in there. You see these guys, Brandon Staley and Cliff Kingsbury and all these guys. You don't see them guys that want control of the team. These Chargers are good, dude. I got them winning tonight. I love that Charger helmet. Hey, stop me if I told you how the Chargers got their name, right? Baron Hilton, who owned the team initially, was the very first guy in a hotel chain ownership that had these charge cards, and there were charge cards to all the Hiltons. And so he called them the Chargers. And it was a Hilton Charger card. And that's how the Chargers got their name. Baron Hilton named them after a credit card. Yeah. Baron Hilton named them after a credit card. The credit card could be used in all the Hiltons. It was like a diners club. That's why they're called the Chargers. Not a lot of lightning in San Diego. Yeah. Baron Hilton named them that. Then again, guys, always remember this. Big Sills has the most useless stats on the planet. And stuff. That's a great throw. That didn't take long. Yep, named after a credit card. Yep. Yep. That's a fact. Ray Kroc. The Padre colors are after a hamburger, cheese, and the meat. That's right. And the Mets have the colors of, and the Mets and the Mets. Hold on. And the Mets have the colors of the Dodgers and the Giants when they moved away. So yeah, that's why when they moved away, the Mets took over the fan bases. How you doing, Chris? Well, that's okay. I finished. Okay. That is brilliant. Chris just asked, he goes, how did you get a I thought that roof was retractable. Yeah, but no, Chris, I thought it's retractable. Why didn't you just close it like for the weather and for the thunderstorms? Yeah, no, I thought that thing was retractable. And so it must be open? Okay, well, weather delay. That SoFi thing is so fine, though. It's a beautiful stadium. Whoopee who? Ugh, God, do I hate her. I do. Because no one cares about her political opinion like no one cares about mine. Yeah, no, they Chargers just scored. Yeah, see, I don't think it is retractable, Chris. Why did it does? Why would they delay it? I have no idea why that's like that. No doubt, Twitter. I mean, Facebook. Yeah, no, comic book never goes down. Oh, yes, always. Oh yeah. Oh no, that never goes down on the island. That never goes down. Always up and running. Come hell or high water, dog. Yeah, you know what? That whistleblower, really ironic that the whistleblower calls out Facebook, and today they've been down for 8 hours. They got to clean up everything. Hey, that looks like it could be an algorithm that's not good. Let's burn it. Oh, wow. Thrown in the pit? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard that somebody today erased the entire platform. It was some yeah, you couldn't find it. Gotcha, Junior. I'm always ready. I get nervous when I eat a Carvel ice cream cone, vanilla, please, with sprinkles. Good evening, America, and happy football and Major League Baseball Monday to you. Hope all had a spectacular weekend. And how could you not? One of the absolutely greatest sports weekends I can remember in the last 25 years. Last night, we saw something that was just polarizing between the Patriots and the Buccaneers. Really, the story was Belichick and Brady. 28 million people tuned in for that thing on Sunday night at Gillette Stadium. Did you hear what I said? 28 million people tuned into Sunday Night Football because they wanted to see the drama. By the way, I thought it lived up to it. The game may not have been one of your greater games that people like nowadays because people bet on, points, and they bet on scoring. They bet on yards. That game was an old school game, 1917, in the driving rain. Brady goes back home. Pins and needles stuff. Drama everywhere. Giselle's in the building. Bob Kraft sees his boy right before the game. Everybody's hugging it out. That was one of the best reality television shows in my opinion, I had seen in a long time. Just absolutely spectacular. Saturday, the upsets in college football. Hey, I know this too. All the Corona pimps out there are clearly hating college football on Saturdays. There is not an empty house in the Southeastern Conference. There's not an empty stadium anywhere, and I loved it. And by the way, appreciate everybody that comes aboard with us each and every single night on USA Radio Network. And if you're on board with us here tonight on our Twitch channel, YouTube channel, like Ken and Steven and Trevor and everyone else, we so appreciate you guys coming aboard. You can post your thoughts, and I'll read them on the air, as we always do. But it was a great weekend, man. And, by the way, Major League Baseball. We're going to talk a little baseball tonight because you know why? Here, let me get that page. I got it here. Baseball seedings are out. And this just in. So the Tampa Bay Rays won 100 games and are the number 1 seed in the American League. Good night. Best run organization in American sports. For the amount of money they spend and no fan base, 0 fan base, the Rays are the number 1 seed in the American League. It's insanity. I mean, really, it's bananas that how much money they don't spend. I do think it's pretty cool. The wild card is Yankees and Red Sox. How about the Giants? Hey, am I right when I say this? So the National League West had 2 teams over 105 wins. Jesus criminy. When's the last time? I don't know if I've ever seen that. 2 teams over 105 wins. Good grief. That's great. Oh, my God. I mean, right? The 2 best teams in baseball are sitting in the West in the National League. Hey, Steve was like 106. I think like the Dodgers are maybe like 105, 104, somewhere in there. Braves and Brewers. Brewers are a really good baseball team. We said that from jump at the beginning of the baseball season. They're the Astros again, too, by the way, huh? No trash cans this time around. So we'll hit on that. We'll talk a little bit about it. By the way, week 4 of the NFL, God, there were some telling games. But let's do this. Let's start off with that game last night. Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick. Come on, that's what it was. Brady goes back home to Foxborough. And I'll tell you, Bill Belichick coached his ass off last night. Maybe the most famous word that was taken out of that game last night was doink. Okay? The doink off the goalpost. What was it, 56, 57 yards last night in the driving rain? Patriots field goal kicker misses it. Patriots still with an opportunity to win it at the very end, of course. Bill coached his ass off. He's so good a coach. He threw every single thing at Tom Brady last night, and it was the master versus his pupil. And the pupil, I'll say this to you, the pupil didn't get the grade he wanted. He wanted to go into New England, and he wanted to put up an A effort. He didn't get an A effort, but he won. But that's not what Tom wanted. He wanted a 14-point win. Bill was going to have none of that. How about the way that the Boston media, get this too, you know what the Boston media is going around doing today? The lame-ass Boston media is giving moral victory headlines to Mac Jones and Belichick. Well, the coach may have gotten the better of Tom Brady last night. No, you didn't. You lost. That's, see, what I tell you all the time in sports. In sports, you can't move the goalpost like you can in politics. Somebody wins an election, it's contested. Somebody wins a football game, baseball game, you name it. It can't be contested. There's a winner and loser. You could dissect it, but there's always a result. But they did lose. In sports, the old college try, that's high school, man. When you're a professional athlete, sorry guys, You don't get moral victories. Well, the guys put up a really good effort. So, bank. Okay? You're a professional. You get paid for a living. That's what this is all about here, son. You want kudos for something that's expected. I guess that's the nature of our society today. People want to get kudos and slaps on the back for doing your job. That's so awful. Be exceptional. Like Brady, Belichick. Hey, you know what else I loved? By the way, you know what everybody's... You know what I hated? The whole last week, and what I hated even today, how everybody's trying to take Bill Belichick's accomplishments away from him. You can't. Well, Brady was important. Well, no, you know what? No, you know what? You can't take his 6 championships away. His 9 conference title rings. You can't. He's earned it. Isn't that crazy how people tried taking that away? From people that have actually earned something. Politicians, most of them, like the dude Bernie Sanders, never had a job in his life. Okay? Guys like that. This guy actually earned it. This guy earned these wins. Hard work, dedication, hiring the right people. Bill Belichick last night showed you why he's the greatest defensive-minded coach of all time. He had Brady on his heels the whole night. Brady found a way to win. Don't the great ones always? Tom Brady walking off that field at Gillette in the rain. How appropriate was that setting, too? 28 million people tuned in for a Sunday night game. Had to be the most anticipated regular season football game I have seen in a long time. And it lived up to the billing. Sunday Night Football has had, in the first 4 weeks of the season, one game for the opener, I think had like 26 million for the Cowboys and Buccaneers. Then you turn around, you have 28 million people for this thing on Sunday night. Boy, was that good. Boy, that was just absolutely sensational. Let me throw something at you here, too. Ken says it now on my YouTube channel. He says this chess match. It so was. It so was a chess match last night. But here's the thing when you're trying to beat Tom Brady. You ready? You can't kick a field goal under 2 minutes and think Tom, if he needs a field goal, is not going to get it. He's going to get it if there's time on the clock. You got to make him earn that win. Got to score TDs in the end. Mac Jones will learn. I think the Patriots are in good hands with him. I do. And I think the Patriots will be a very good football team in 2026. College football was so good on Saturday. All the upsets. Oregon goes down to Stanford. A&M gets beat. Alabama. Oh, this just in. Hey, if you're Lane Kiffin and you have a mic drop, do me a favor. Don't get your face kicked in and then have a mic drop and think you're going to go out and beat Alabama and then get your doorknobs knocked off. That thing wasn't competitive. It was stupid looking. It's as bad as the Hurricanes wearing those turnover chains. That thing was dumb, man. He dropped the mic in front of a reporter like that was going to matter and his guys were going to go out and beat Alabama. Bama embarrassed them. Classic. Here's something else with money. I mean, I'm gonna throw this at you here. So this coming weekend, there's always a big game in Dallas. By the way, we throw love out to our friends in Dallas. We appreciate everybody there having us on, and thank you so much. Red River rivalry this weekend, right? At the Cotton Bowl. So wait a minute. You have a game this weekend coming where 2 teams in the top 5, Iowa and Penn State. Okay? Iowa and Penn State. That pretty much could determine the Big Ten and the national championship. Do you know what game day is going to do? They're going to Dallas. Why is that, you think? When's Texas been relevant? I can't remember. Mac Brown? When's the last time they were relevant? Can somebody tell me? I don't remember the last time that team won 10 ball games. And an OU's been kind of up and down, but you know why they did this, don't you? They didn't do it for the rivalry. The real game this weekend is Iowa-Penn State. It's a big game, actually. They did it because ESPN was behind the scenes undermining the Big 12 and ripping that conference apart. And because OU and Texas decided to leave the Big 12 and go to the SEC, this is a reward. Congratulations, ESPN. You're no longer a entity that puts out the best product. You put out the product now that best serves you. That's not in the best interest of college football. It's in the best interest of ESPN. Airing that game. Iowa versus Penn State. The sport already struggles from being what? Regional, South. Look at all the national championships that have come out of the southeastern part of the country. If you're not USC, when's the last time a team from the West Coast won the national title? I can't remember. Washington? 90s? Midwest, you're trying to get as many fans as you possibly can because that's the heartland of football. Instead, you follow the cash register because that's what ESPN is. They are the entertainment sports network for sure. They are no longer the sports network. They go by what's in the best interest of ESPN and what generates the most clicks and the most money. And if you happen to do the right thing and you happen to get two teams out of a conference to go to another conference, more power to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Some of the most intriguing games over the weekend. A little bit more on Brady and Belichick. What a game that was last night. Major League Baseball. We'll talk at the bottom of the hour about the playoffs. So much to hit on. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Ah, okay. No. Lightning doesn't. That storm is starting to head down this way, though. I don't know yet. I mean, well, shut up. You got me good. No, you got. Here it is right here. I see what you said. Oh, dude, hey, thank you for that on Friday. My wife is so sick because I had to drive her to the airport, to go see my daughter play rugby. And she got back. Oh, God, aren't they great? Kim took them or a guy took them, excuse me. And she was at the game. They really, really played well, too. They played Arizona State. How's everything going with you, brother? It does, man. Dude, all them new stadiums look just absolutely stunning. Yeah, because the Rams played there yesterday. And they got beat, they got clobbered. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah. Tomorrow starts, yes. No, those are the Godzillas. Yes. Yeah, we have pinstripes here too. No way. I'm saving this for right now. Good job. Oh, really? 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 Well, you basically, I'm really stunned that you actually said something. It's kind of crazy. That's great. I'm appreciative of it. Yeah, no, it's quite remarkable that you actually have a take. Wow, couldn't believe it. Actually, something smart. What are they saying in Dallas about them? The Cowboys. Are they overhyping them? Huh. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Just talk to Chris O about the Cowboys. He's based in Dallas. Just ask them a question. Are they buying into the hype? Cowboys win, by the way, over an undefeated Panther team on Sunday, 36-28. Cowboys now run their record of 3-1 on the season. Panthers fall to 3-1. Not that the Panthers were anybody and hadn't beaten anybody that I thought was of significance. But I will tell you this. Anytime you have an undefeated team, Sam Darnold was playing great football. He threw for 300 yards against the Cowboy defense on Sunday. You start having to ask the question about the Cowboys. Here's what I love about the Cowboys. And Chris said it, pretenders or contenders. Here's why they're contenders. Dak threw for 188 and 4 touchdowns. What does that significant number tell you? They're not just relying on Dak. I'm going to say this to you about Dak getting his cash. Doesn't it seem that Prescott got his money and he's more comfortable and he's more at ease? This guy has figured it out. I'm telling you guys, when I watch him play, say it's 3rd and 19. You know what Dak does? Tries to get half of it back. If he can't make up the yardage, you know what he does? Punts it away, turns it over to his defense, goes back out there and plays field position. Do you know how great that is? I saw that last night with Brady. Don't get the first down. As long as there's time on the clock and I have the ball in my hand, we're going to win. There becomes a sense of confidence that you start bleeding on your team, that if the quarterback feels that way, maybe I feel that way. And here's the most important stat for the Cowboys. You ready? Ezekiel Elliott, 20 carries, 143. That's Zeke at his best. When the Cowboys get that, 143, and you're able to run the ball and Dak's playing the football he is, friends, the Cowboys are for real. And I got to say this to you about Dan Quinn on the other side, the defensive coordinator that was brought in. Doesn't it? Do you know that's almost the same group? It's almost the same group as last year. What's the difference with the Cowboys? Dan Quinn has simplified the defense, and they're playing fast. That's almost theoretically the same guys. That kid Diggs, too, by the way, who's playing corner for the Cowboys. Guys, that guy might be the best lockdown corner in the game. I thought he was lazy last year. I thought he didn't put enough into the game last year. Just seemed to me he was lazy at times. Not this year. Marty Cooper had 3 catches for 69 yards, getting him involved in the game. Cowboys look good, man. That's a pretty good-looking football team right now, and it's because the quarterback. And how about this, too? You know what my only question mark is with the Dallas Cowboys? is their head coach. Isn't that funny? Mike McCarthy, to me, is truly the question mark. Okay, is he going to do something that could stop that football team from accelerating and continuing to grow? I'll tell you this, man. I don't know. I love what I'm seeing with Dak, and I'm loving what I'm seeing with the Cowboys. I'm buying into them. Hey, how about this? This goes out to all of our friends in the Phoenix area at our Valley Hooters location. How about this, folks? The Arizona Cardinals are 4-0. They're the best team in the NFC right now. That includes the Cowboys. Kyler Murray is unbelievable. What's the best place for you to go and watch Arizona Cardinal football? And it's at your local Hooters. $3 Michelob Ultra Drafts, fantasy football, UFC boxing. Do me a favor, tell them that Big Sil sent you. All right, let's take a look at Major League Baseball. Playoffs will start tomorrow with the wild card with Yankees and Red Sox. We'll take a look at that. Some more NFL football and college. We'll do it next. It's lightning like a crazy man here. I said it's lightning like a crazy man here. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not afraid of anything. The only thing that I would be afraid of is me. I tremble. When I look in the mirror, I see myself, I tremble. Oh God, look at that. What a beastly man. Wow. It looks like he could rip my larynx out. There's no question the reason why I don't have a lot of cameo people asking me, because when they go on and see it, they go, I'm too afraid to ask him to say happy birthday to me. I'm like, well, yeah, there's just a few people that I kick the shit out of, but most of them, I'm all right, about 97. Yeah, 97% of the people on the planet I'm good with. Yankees and Red Sox won. Knocked Toronto out. Oh, dude, that kid that won the home run title, he's a fucking beast. That's a good topic. I'm going to steal that. I'm stealing the extra wild card, and I'm going to explain why I do think it's a good idea, too. Don't worry, Chris. Don't worry. Don't start crying on me. I hope to God this doesn't knock me out here, man. It's lightning like it doesn't ever lightning here. And go out there and pound my chest. Hey! Now I got to go out there and. Hey, lightning! Get the hell up! Wow. Maybe I won't go out. Oh yeah, no, it's the bolts are like hitting the ground. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Yep, they called it for sure. You're ahead of me. Holy cow, dude. It is really lightning here. My power, if it goes out, you'll know why. No. I'm here. I'm just, well, hey. I'm throttled to do it. Oh, it is I don't know if that's a horse collar. It's at the front of the shirt. 9209. I'll give you mine. 920-92025. Oh my God. That was an enormous lightning bolt. Wow, that was really uncool. I guarantee you. Okay. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hope all are having a spectacular night. Funny, I was just talking to my guy Chris O about the extra wild card. Can you imagine if we went by the old way where Major League Baseball didn't have a wild card, the Dodgers would not be in the postseason. They won 106 games. Can you imagine that? You would exclude a team that won 106 ball games. And plus, you know what the extra wild card and having wild card, when Bud Selig proposed this and put this into the playoffs, do you know what it does also? It engages people to stay longer with their teams, that they have an opportunity at actually making it to the postseason. I mean, San Francisco really ran away with the National League West, right? If you were a Dodger or Padre or Rockies or Diamondback fan, you're not going to be engaged at all in any way whatsoever to sit there and do this and just stay engaged with your team, because the Giants, they locked this bad puppy up, what, a month and a half ago? I mean, you would be excluding 106 wins, and the Dodgers wouldn't go to the postseason. I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but I am a fan of it now. I'm a fan of it now that Major League Baseball has these wild cards, because I do think it's a cool thing that baseball has here when it comes to, you know, keeping the fans engaged. And also, hey, you know, sometimes does the best team win here's the only thing that you get, okay? And the problem that you do get when you have wild card teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox tomorrow will tee up the wild card, which is awesome. You know, when I was a kid in 78, they had that wild card team, the Bucky Dent game, and that determined the American League East. This is determining whether or not you go on to play the Rays. And as I said to open up the show here, the Rays, one of the best organizations in all of baseball. And you know what, too? They could get rid of Blake Snell, or they could get rid of all these guys, and it just doesn't matter, right? They could get rid of David Price. They could get rid of Evan Longoria. They could get rid of Carl Crawford, and it just seemingly doesn't matter. What a great run organization the Rays are. They're the number one seed in the American League. It's just great. I mean, it shows you, in my opinion, the strength of our truly great organization. Okay, so let's take a look at this event again. So tomorrow, it's going to be Red Sox and Yankees. Look, who wins this? Come on, man. Who knows who wins this thing here? These wild card games, you know, what you have here is you truly have a scenario where starting pitching is going to be the key component here for this thing here. And that game's going to be tomorrow. And the winner of that game will go on to play the dynamic Rays, who won 100 ball games themselves. Okay, if I had to pick, I think the Red Sox probably end up taking out the Yankees. The Yankees are the 5 seed in this whole thing. I do think Red Sox and Rays, and believe me, you know Major League Baseball, they want one of those two teams to end up somehow making it all the way to the World Series. So I kind of have the Red Sox, even though I'm a Yankee fan. I think the Red Sox go on to play Tampa. How about the job that Tony La Russa did with the 3 seed and the Chicago White Sox in the American League? This guy's 76 years old. He comes out of retirement. His last gig was building the Diamondback organization. He was the president of that team, I think, for 3 years. I think Dave Stewart was involved in the organization. And they're going to take on the Astros. The Astros are so good still to this day, in my opinion. The Astros still have the pitching and still have the hitting. I think it's going to be an interesting series, to say the least. But how about the way the White Sox have done it, huh, man? That's a pretty good testament there to Tony La Russa. This could be Tony La Russa and one of his best jobs that he has done as a manager in Major League Baseball, Hall of Fame manager too. So I think they go on, and I think the White Sox, I think they're going to absolutely, in my opinion, I think that's going to be a heck of a American League divisional series. And then they'll go on, the winner of that will go on and play in the ALCS. I can't wait to see what this thing's going to turn out. So in my opinion, I think it's going to be Rays, Red Sox, White Sox, and Astros in the ALDS. Let's go over to the National League. If you told me at the beginning of the year that the San Francisco Giants would win, what was it, 106 games, 107 games, whatever. If you told me that they were going to put that kind of number up on the board, I'd have said you're crazy. And then you see that the Dodgers, I kind of think that we all agree, right? That the Dodgers were a 100-win team, even with all the injuries. Has Max Scherzer been a superstar since he came over from the Nationals? The wild card will be Dodgers and Cardinals. How about the Cardinals rallying in the second half of the season and making a run at the postseason? They're the 5 seed, but boy, they were dead in the water in the first half of the season. And they end up rallying in the second half of the season, and now they're in the wild card against the Dodgers. Braves and Brewers will be in the ALDS. And I'll tell you what, I love that Brewers team. The Brewers are the 2nd seed in the National League. What do I see happening in the teams that I think end up going all the way to the World Series? As I would say this, I think the Rays make it to the ALCS. I think the White Sox will take care of the Astros in a 7-game series. I think it's going to be Rays and White Sox in the ALCS, and I think it's going to be Giants and Brewers, believe it or not, in the NLCS. And I think the teams that make it to the World Series, I think it's going to be the Giants versus the Tampa Bay Rays for the World Series. I think those two teams. And why wouldn't they be? The Rays are the best team in the American League, and the Giants were the best team in the National League. Those are really great performances this year. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. probably is your National League MVP. I think he had a really fantastic year. There's no doubt what saved the season for the Dodgers this year was Scherzer coming over from the Nationals. That was pretty good stuff there, man. Really good. So Major League Baseball, I love the fact, okay? And Steven says, Braves got some real bangers in that lineup. They do, Steven. They do. And you know what's really ironic about that? That's an organization, the Braves, that are notorious for building through their arms. And when you see what they have built with that lineup, Braves are such a great run organization. You know, I've told you about my relationship with John Sherrills, the former president of the organization. They have such a great blueprint on how to be relevant and keep that thing relevant. And they've been doing it now for the last 30 years. The Braves have been great. They have a great minor league system. And you know what's funny? You say Soto's the MVP. Okay, my friend Stephen Clark on my YouTube channel says he thinks Soto's the MVP. Man, I love Tatis though. You know, he missed so many ball games this year, and he still won he still won the home run title in the National League. I mean, what a ball player he is. If he could just stay healthy, that might be a factor. Hey, on a side note, I do think that they're going to fire the manager, Tingler, and I don't know who ends up taking over that job. Buck Showalter, would you throw that name in the conversation? They need an experienced manager. When you have guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., you need, I think, an experienced manager. Now, we were talking prior to going on the air. I would say this, man. I would say Bruce Bochy, do everything he can, back the Brinks truck up, give him the opportunity to manage that baseball team. But as people were saying, he would want more control of the personnel. And I agree with that. And he would want more control of the minor leagues. And that means that would run into and butting heads with A.J. Preller. That's why if you notice the type of managers that have been hired, over the last recent years by the Padres, it's been a scenario where they've gone with the inexperienced manager, Andy Green, Jay Tingler, these guys. They don't get guys in there that are guys that are experienced and handling a pitching staff. You notice this I'll tell you this, the one thing that I would always do, and the one thing that I would always lean to, I think catchers make absolutely sensational managers. Go down the list of all the managers that we've seen in baseball history, and especially as of late. Joe Torre started out, he wasn't just a third baseman. Torre started out as a catcher, okay? I mean, he was a catcher. Bochy was a catcher. Go down the list of the guys who know how to handle pitchers, because that's the key to this whole thing when you're talking about handling, a baseball team. It's handling the whole scenario when it comes down to being able to understand arms. And in today's baseball, it's not about your starters any longer. It's more about your bullpen. I keep bringing up the fact that the Royals won the series a couple of years back because they had really great arms. So, again, I think this is going to be a really great playoffs. And I've got the Giants and Rays going all the way to the World Series. I think the Rays are going to win the World Series this year. I think they're experienced. Look at how many times they've been now to the series over the last couple of years. Okay? Okay. Steven says that Showalter and Bochy won't micromanage. They're too old school. That's right. They're not going to. They're just going to let it roll. I'll tell you what. That's what I think the manager in San Francisco did. I think he just let it roll, man. Instead of getting in the way with 143 different – I've always said this about Joe Madden. I love Joe Madden. I love being around him when he was the Rays manager. My big problem with him is, 1 year I covered him. He had 147 different lineup cards that he turned into an umpire 1 year. And I was critical of that. I'm like, how do you know when you show up to the ballpark every day what your job is? You show up every day not knowing what is expected of you, right? You show up every single day and you really don't know what's expected. And I always found that to be a problem with Joe. Joe overthinks it. And this is quite frankly what I think Tony La Russa is great at. Tony is more with the arms, not so much with his everyday lineup. And Tony's always been like that with Dave Duncan. Dave Duncan was this guy that was his number 2 guy forever. And Dave Duncan handled all the pitching staff and every place that he's went, even the first time around when he was with the White Sox. This is his second stint with the White Sox. And I really thought that, Duncan and were like Stoudemire and Torrey, So I think it's going to be a great World Series. All right, let me slide over back to football again. First 4 games. And I said this to you last week. 4 games tell us who you are. It starts to develop a trend. And here's my take on the first 4 games. The player that has impressed you the most in the NFL has been who? That kid in Arizona, Kyler Murray, who was a first-round draft choice by the Oakland A's. Let me give you guys a brief little history on him. So I think the A's gave him $3.5, was it? $3.5 million on a signing bonus to play for the A's. This guy was some player at Oklahoma baseball. What does he do football-wise? He wins the Heisman Trophy, and he becomes a first-round draft choice by the Arizona Cardinals. I thought they were crazy. When they drafted him. I said, this guy's too small. I'm not buying it. I don't see it. People started telling me, Dan, it's a different NFL. It's not the same NFL like it was a few years back. quarterbacks don't get killed like they used to. And wide receivers have open space now. And, they got the targeting, helmet to helmet. They got defenseless receiver stuff. So guys are getting open more now in the NFL because the league wants to see more offense. Okay? Murray has thrived. He went into SoFi yesterday and annihilated. And I mean annihilated the Rams. People keep telling me Aaron Donald's the best defensive tackle in the game. He's on a football team that's given up 900 total yards in the last 2 weeks. Really? You think that's elite? I don't. I don't think that's elite. But I do think that Kyler Murray's elite. He's my MVP. I think the kid playing tonight for the Raiders, Derek Carr, I think he's in the conversation. And I would have to tell you this. I think Dak Prescott's number 3. The 3 most impressive players to me so far in the first 4 games have been Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, and Dak Prescott. And I think you can rearrange those guys in any way you want. I think they've been absolutely spectacular, those 3 players. All right. Hey, do me a favor. Check out our friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. 25% off of anything that's on the website. Use the promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. That's Sileo, S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. Shipping is free. You can spend as much as $5 to $5,000. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. That is podcasterwarehouse.com. No question, the league has just absolutely been awesome. Okay, and I say this to you about Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. The guy reminds me of Allen Iverson. He really does. He reminds me of Iverson. We'll take a look more at what went on in college football this past week and a couple of coaches on the hot seat. We'll look at it. Keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. What? Yeah, sweetheart. Well, everything's fine. No, we had a little little flicker, but I think it's calmed down now and passed. Yeah, don't worry about it, sweetie. It's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, you think? Yeah, okay, kid. God. Huh. Think a lot of yourself, don't you, kid? Oh, really? Scared. I am scared. Every time I look in the mirror, I go, oh my God, look at this beast. He's a beastly man. It's all right, kid. It's all right. You hang in there, you'll be all right. Don't call me buddy. I'm not your buddy. I don't sing songs, dog. I think they're for the or Mario Lanza. Excuse me. What'd you say, man? Actually, nothing's out of line between you and me. Chris, you couldn't say anything, dude, because you know why? We're boys. I will admit, though, the F references, and I won't say the name because we got people watching, are quite salty. Yeah. Salty crackers? Wow. I know that lightning strikes. Oh, wow. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. So let's. I waited a little bit to hit on this because I wanted to get more into the show here. So Urban Meyer came out today and apologized for grinding on a co-ed in his bar in Columbus. I can't even believe it. I know some of you are going, what'd you just say? I'll say it again to you. He addressed the media today when asked the question about the viral video that was on the internet over the weekend. I kept having to check it to see if it was real, and it was like recent. And yes, what happened was, remember they played the Bengals on Thursday night. You know what he did? He gave an 0-3 team the weekend off because, well, you know, hey, they must be really working hard in Jacksonville. So guess what he did? He goes to his bar in Columbus. His wife is babysitting. She's not very happy. If you go and look at his wife's Twitter feed, not pretty happy with what went on. I'm not sure any of you have seen this, but Urban Meyer is sitting at the bar. His legs are spread, and this young co-ed is grinding. I'll leave it there because we're a family show. And she's like backed up on him. So Urban Meyer had to address it today. I had to apologize to my team. I'm telling you what, I know some of you go, this ain't real. An NFL head coach. Oh, and it's real. He goes, yeah, I'm sorry. I am a distraction to my team. And I apologize to my team. I'd be more like this. Hey, you remember what Elon did to Tiger with a 9-iron? Hey, Herb, let me just say this to you, man. I bet you that was pretty salty in your own home. And so he apologized. And I'm like, dude, who would have thought that a 21-year-old Trevor Lawrence has more maturity in dealing with being an NFL person now than the 57-year-old head coach of the Jags? That is so unbecoming of an NFL head coach. I can't believe I'm even telling you this story. Can you imagine? Know this. This is why this guy's not going to make it in the NFL. Because he doesn't understand what it takes to be in the NFL. Dude, did you see the cameras on Belichick all night last night? That hug at the end, everybody's trying to dissect that hug that he had with Brady. Not very many people know that he went into the locker room after the game and into the Bucs locker room, and he spent 25 minutes with Brady. And they said catching up. You know what Brady said? I'm going to leave our conversation between us. Came out and said, I'm not talking about what we talked about. But there's Urban Meyer acting like he's 16 years old in a bar, or 21 years old in a bar. Okay? Grinding on a co-ed. Wearing an Ohio State hoodie. Seriously, guy. You're an NFL head coach. Act like it. How do you think you're going to command respect in the locker room when you don't respect your job? You see, these college coaches think they walk on water. And they think they're Teflon, and they are in many cases. You think anybody in Ohio State or in Columbus would have posted that of Urban Meyer? Never. You can get away with that crap in Gainesville. Don't you know that everybody has a cell phone which has, a camera on it? And if they see a guy who's making $10 million a year in the bar acting unprofessional, it's going to go viral. How do you not know that? How do you not know that? This is why one of the biggest things I always tell rookies, hey guys, if you're texting anybody out there, don't text nudes or don't text anything that could come back to haunt you, because it will. Old girlfriends. Look at Josh Allen a couple years ago, the quarterback of the Bills. He had to have a come to Jesus conversation with his teammates in the locker room because he made some racist tweets a couple years back when he was like 15 years old. Urban Meyer. Wow. What a creep. Co-eds? Dude. Act like you're a professional. Just a little. Just act like you're a pro. Man, oh man. Did he not think somebody would be watching him? It's all over the internet too. And I'm sorry for my behavior. And, Jesus Christ, it's even nauseating to talk about it. All right, I'm going to talk about two grown-ups. Belichick and Brady once again last night delivered on the goods. Unbelievable moment last night. We'll look at week 4. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. You're right back. Excuse me, Mickey, what'd you say? Mm. Hey, Bobby Sands, why don't you help me out here on something here, all right? Oh, okay. Really, I always love it when the English take care of you guys. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, really, do you? Yeah. IRA forever, right? Yeah, really throwing tomatoes or potatoes, excuse me. Doesn't matter to you guys. My name is Dan Rico Sileo, just so you know. New Italian name is Rico. Why is it? I'm named after Mayor of New York, Rico. No, Giuliani, man, we'll get all of them on Rico. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that shoe polish job on his hair is not working. Go home and get your shine box. No, there's something wrong with Giuliani now. I think so, man. Just push the button, kid. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hope everybody is absolutely having a great night tonight. It was a spectacular weekend in sports. One of the absolutely best weekends I can remember, especially on the football side. Baseball's got their playoffs now set. Wild card will begin tomorrow. Yankees and Red Sox. Man, great time to be covering sports now. And you know what, too? It's a fun time to be covering this side of the media. How would you like to be a White House correspondent right now? Outside the White House meal, I don't know what really is a good thing right now. My friend Kevin Cork, who works for Fox News, he's like, "Sales, man, really?" I mean, it when you get to the White House press briefing now, it's like you pepper people. And it doesn't matter if you're Trump. It doesn't matter if you're Biden. I wouldn't want to be part of that whole crew. I just wouldn't. I love what we're doing now. College football on Saturday was dynamic. And I don't really know, outside of Georgia and Alabama, if anybody can really jump up and contend with those two teams. Oregon gets beat by Stanford over the weekend. The Sunday games in the NFL were iconic, especially the game last night. I'll talk more about Brady and Belichick here in a sec, but college football, seeing all the fans back at the stadiums, I think it was just spectacular, man. It was so awesome. You got this weekend, you've got OU, Texas. You've got Iowa, Penn State. We just got through concluding the fourth week of the NFL. I mean, man, really great stuff. First on the college front. I was told this a long time ago by my coach, Jimmy Johnson, and I reference him all the time because I reference greatness. I reference Brady all the time. I really don't have a stake in, rooting for a particular team. I root for the Buccaneers because I played there. Or I'll root for the Canes because I played there. But Cowboys too. But outside of that, I don't really root for anybody. You know, I root for everyone to have success, believe it or not. I really do. Okay? I root for everyone to have success. You think it's any coincidence that the two best teams in the country are Alabama and Georgia? Let me throw you a nugget here on why those two teams are separating themselves from everyone else in the country. Everyone else, by the way. It's personnel hirings. Do you guys know where Kirby Smart came before he took the reins as the head coach of Georgia? He worked for Nick Saban at Alabama. What lesson did he learn? Two things he learned. Well, three things, actually. What were the three things he learned? Dedication to winning, recruiting, and hiring spectacular assistant coaches. Getting the best of the best. Do you really want to be a good manager, whatever your job field is? Do you really want to be a good coach? It's not about you. It really is about the people around you. Hiring the best assistant coaches that you possibly can get is essential in your success. Not sitting around and looking to blame people for your failures. If that assistant coach fails, that's your failure, son. That's your failure. You hired him. Well, I was wrong. Okay. Well, don't be wrong too many times. You'd be out of gig. That is the secret sauce, in my opinion, to Nick Saban. And for that matter, Bill Belichick, Jimmy Johnson, name all the great ones. Hiring spectacular assistant coaches and people in your organization is essential. You know, I know that I bring this reference up a boatload of times to you, but I think it also plays into exactly what I'm speaking to now. You know, I've told you that I've talked to Warren Buffett numerous times and have had him on my program. And when we were talking about companies that he invests in, Warren Buffett always says this, man, I don't care what a company's producing. You know, like he loves Coca-Cola, so he's got major stock and he's the number one shareholder in Coke. He loves McDonald's. He's got a big stake in that. He loves Dairy Queen. He's got a big stake in that. Geico, too. All of that are all his companies. But the number one thing that he says about people, man, I invest in people. I invest in the jockey. Never invest in the horse. Invest in the jockey. The jockey leads the horse to water. When he said that on my show, I was like, huh. He's like, yeah, you've got to have smart people in your business. No matter what your product is, your company can always underachieve if you don't have the right people in the building. How many times do we see great baseball teams or great football teams or great basketball teams for that matter? And they don't live up to their expectations. Why is that? Because you don't have the right guy pulling the trigger. There's guys that know how to get maximum production out of people. Do you know what I've learned on how you do that? You let your assistant coaches or you let your personnel in your company do their jobs. And don't be afraid of the outcome. If there's failure, identify it quick and pull the trigger quick on it. You know, identifying your own failures is the most difficult thing I think coaches and people in the world struggle with. Is firing your own mistakes. Made a mistake? Don't sit around for a year and try to figure it out when you know in your heart that person doesn't have the skill set to be able to get it across the tape. Look at Belichick. You think there's a reason that Bill Parcells, look at this for instance. Why do you think Bill Parcells had Bill Belichick and his coaching staff the whole time? Because he knew, he never won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick as an assistant coach in his coaching staff. There's never really been a Super Bowl win without Bill on his staff. He hasn't even gone to a Super Bowl without Bill. Bill, after getting fired in Cleveland, he became a special assistant on that Patriots team back in the day when they got beat by Favre and the Packers in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, I should say. Hiring great people. This could be easily one of Urban Meyer's undermining things that could take him out of the NFL. Does he have the right assistant coaches teaching Trevor Lawrence? Do you have the right staff? Jimmy Johnson said it all the time to me. You know, assistant coaches are what make you. Jimmy probably had the greatest college coaching staff of all time because you know why? Not only did that staff win a national championship at Miami, but they would go on and win 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. Those guys knew how to get the best out of their players, and Jimmy allowed it. You know, Coach Johnson never really did a lot of coaching. He just did a lot of evaluating. That's kind of what Saban does. He motivates his players. He coaches his coaches, and his coaches coach the players. That's the secret in Alabama, why they're consistently great, not good, great, every single year. No matter what you have playing quarterback or who you have playing running back, it doesn't matter. Because there's now a formula in the building. By the way, we'll take a look at week 4 of the NFL at the bottom of the hour. Some telling games and some really signature games. And I have been telling you this for the last 3 weeks. 4 games tell us an identity of a team. Now, can that change after the next 4 games? Absolutely. Injuries will always do that because in the National Football League, part of the equation in evaluating is the war of attrition. What teams are getting better, what teams don't have the depth. Depth is a factor. You've got to coach it. That's why your general manager is important. Almost every sport, though, is like that. We'll talk more about Brady and Belichick, but I want to talk about Dak Prescott here for a second. Dak Prescott has been one of the top 3 most impressive players in the first quarter poll of the season. I said this a couple segments ago. I think the MVPs right now in the NFL are Kyler Murray in Arizona. I think they're Derek Carr going into the final game versus the Chargers. I think Derek is second. That could change after tonight. And I think it's Dak Prescott. Dak may end up moving up as we move into the 5th week of the NFL season. But the things that I'm seeing out of Dak, you know, I was asked a couple segments ago, are you buying into Prescott? Yeah. But not only am I buying into Prescott, I'm totally buying into the Cowboys as a unit. They've gotten so much better. And where? Obviously on defense. They did a great job versus the Panthers. They, in theory, if you think about it, the Cowboys could be 4-0. They played the Buccaneers all the way down to really the last few minutes of that ball game. They're getting a running game going. They have a dynamic duo in Tony Pollard. And they have it going on right now with Zeke, 143 yards on Sunday. I like what the Cowboys are doing. Cowboys are contenders, in my opinion. I haven't said that the Dallas Cowboys have been contenders in 20 years. No, I'll take that back. You know the Cowboy team that got jobbed out of that Des Bryant catch in Green Bay? That team that would have went to the NFC Championship game. Romo was the quarterback. I thought that team was pretty good. They got jobbed out of going to the NFC title game. That was a catch. Would have put them down on the 2-yard line. I totally believe that team was a good team. May have gone on to win a Super Bowl too. That was a good football team that the Joneses had. But this football team, and you know what? It's getting better and better and better and better. And why will this Cowboy team continue to evolve? It's a brand new coordinator on defense. Dan Quinn has been maybe the most important hire of any coach in the NFL this offseason. Maybe another coach that was hired that has had an impact like you're seeing Dan Quinn have with this Cowboy team. This Cowboy team looks like it could be special. It's gaining steam here. Dak's playing with great confidence. It's almost like he got his bag of money and said, you know what, man, I got this. We're good. Kellen Moore, the coordinator. Cowboys have some pretty good coordinators going on here. Dan Quinn gets fired from the Atlanta Falcon job, and now he is sprinkling his defensive dust on that Cowboy team, and they're good. And Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, my opinion, I would not be shocked if Kellen Moore is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. He's a damn good-looking player. Damn good-looking player, man. He's completely got it going on. Significant games in the NFL. We'll take a look at them at the bottom of the hour. And Jalen Hurts showed up in a loss. I'll explain. Keep it here on the Sileo Show. I don't know who you are. Let me know when you're who you are. What's your name, kid? You know, I heard that people really had a good time with it. So what the hell happened to Facebook today? They're going to be so regulated soon. Facebook's going to be so regulated soon. Yeah, you would almost have to have like a government agency in the company. And they're not going to allow that. Maybe they break them up, though, like they did Ma Bell. I don't know, man. Yeah, but look at what they did to Parler, dude. I mean, as soon as Parler got into where they were going to put Trump on, Amazon and Google took them off the damn platforms. You don't. I totally do. You know, the election conspiracy people, I ignore them because I don't care. Well, Omar, what's her name, going like this? Something happened on 9/11. Come on, man. No, she may have been talking to her brother. Oh, I mean her husband. Of the whole country. Dude, you're right. That's a great comment. That the United States of America is a walking reality show right now. Hey, folks, Chris O'Sullivan just said something spectacular. People think they're going to be famous today, but they just don't realize they're just all stupid. That's great. I did. I liked it. Thank you very much. I pissed the quarterback off yesterday, an NFL quarterback. Dan Sileo, that'd be me, of course. USA Radio Network. No. I'm Dan Sileo, but I pissed an NFL quarterback off yesterday. I did. Baker Mayfield got mad at me yesterday from the Browns. On my Twitter page, at Dan Sileo Show, I said the Browns need a quarterback. I don't think Baker Mayfield has thrown a touchdown pass to a wide receiver yet this year after 4 weeks. He liked it and sent me a DM. So you think SH you know what? And I said, I don't know you from a can of paint, kid. And I said that exactly this way. I don't know you from a can of paint, kid. And it's for the matter of fact, my friend Alonzo Highsmith, who was part of the pro personnel department, actually speaks highly of you. I'm talking about your performance. You hold the Browns back. I don't hold the team back. We've got one loss. We're 3-1. I said, fair enough. But there'll be a critical part this year that you'll be relied on to beat a team like Kansas City, like you had the lead, 14-point lead in the opener, and you dropped it and laid an egg. And so we were going back and forth on my DM like this. And I said, I want you to understand something, Baker. I don't have any animosity towards you. I don't know you from a can of paint. So I'm not upset with you. You must be upset with my take, which is okay. I understand that. My daughter says something to me all the time, folks. If you make a comment, be prepared to have it challenged. She's right. So he goes, would you rather be on a 3-1 team with me with no touchdown passes to a wide receiver? Or would you rather be on a football team that's 3-1 and me sitting here and, you know, the direct opposite of that? And I said, I'd rather be 3-1. But the NFL is not about beating crappy teams. It's about beating the great teams. Okay? Or the great coach teams. And that's what happens when you get into the postseason. When you get into the postseason, you take on spectacular coordinators who have figured you out and know your weaknesses. Baker Mayfield, you know, I heard a couple guys say that he's a franchise quarterback. Boy, do I not think that. I think that guy holds that team back. That team is not built on the quarterback. It's built on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, the two running backs in the defense that's lights out. I think the Browns have a great roster. I think they're quarterback suspect. And for the record, I think that's why the Cleveland Browns haven't given Baker Mayfield a contract extension. They want to see if this guy can deliver the goods. And you know what that is? Beating good teams. It's not personal, Baker. It's just business. And that's how I look at it. I'm not being personal with the guy. I've gotten away from that. I don't do that any longer. Well, you know, you're short, you're this, you're that. He started firing back some stuff at me. I'll audit your career. You know, Baker, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you and your performance. He struggled mightily. What was he, 15 of 33? And they won in spite of him. So I look at his performance and someone goes, well, he's had one bad week. And I go, he's had one bad week? This guy's been mediocre since he came out of Oklahoma. All right. We'll take a look at all the games. It was a very compelling week 4, to say the least, not just that Sunday night game. Don't forget, and one of the teams that really made a statement was the Arizona Cardinals. This goes out to all our Valley Hooters people in the Phoenix area. Make sure you get on down there, man. $3 Michelob Ultra drafts, draft parties, UFC, Arizona State. I mean, it is just a fabulous time of the year. Make sure you get the local Hooters there in the Valley there. $8 Corona buckets there too. Man, it's just great. Make sure you tell them Big Sil sent you. We'll do this. Take a look at week 4 of the NFL next. Your name again? Ain't boss of me, man. Nobody's the boss of Big Sills. Okay, well, that's different. Hey, tell Dave hi. Huh? That's funny. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. No. Sounds good. Sounds like you got it going on. No, man. No, I'm pretty impressed. Yeah. Well, no, yeah, sure. Okay. Not me. My legacy's set. Yeah. There's 2 national championship rings behind me too. If you ever want to look at them, let me know. I'll send you a couple pictures of them. Lucas. Name me after an Irishman? Sorry, I don't. Yeah, Lucas. Okay, yeah. You had one good moment, man, tonight. No. You had one good moment tonight. Don't ruin it. Really? What is that? DeVry. I hear you went to Suffolk Community College in New York. Is that true? Yeah, I heard that Suffolk Community College night school. I hear it's like a really good banging place, man. What it have 14 chairs in the building? I didn't pay for college. Big Sills didn't pay for college, Junior. I didn't have to. They knocked on my door and begged me to come play. Yeah, hundreds of them did. Please come and play. I had one guy sleep in my driveway. His name was Norm Gerber at Syracuse. Yeah, they slept in my driveway. You're welcome. Yeah, one did, right? Hey, Dan, can you come play at Pitt? No, I don't know. Yeah, right. No, I don't think so. Miami of Ohio. No. Couple good days. I don't think so. They named clouds after me at Miami because I did such a great job at UM. Yeah, no, great. All right. Hey. Yeah. This guy went to Westchester Community College. Westchester Community College. Yeah, the Tech Neck. The tech neck department, man. I heard it's really great. Edinburgh. I thought that was in England. Oh, sure. I've never been to New Jersey. I don't go to that shithole. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hoboken's the home of Frank Sinatra, dog. That's right. I did it my way. Look at that. Look at that. Chris feeding me the lines there. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. That's his second moment he's had tonight. Really impressed with him. Usually there's no moments, but now we have two tonight. Wow. It's really great. It's like the movie The Freshman. Carmine said there'd be one. Now there's two. Carmine said one boy. Now there are two. No, man, my highlight reel, all you have to do is just punch it up and you'll see a guy running around. Wow. Look at him, man. Is he driving a chariot? I belong in the Roman days, like driving a chariot. Oh, I do love the gladiator movies. That's Big Sills, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, don't think in the former life, man, I wasn't at the Roman Coliseum killing stiffs like you. Holiday season. Look at you always bring the room down. Act like you've been there a little bit, Chris. Stop moaning and crying. You're right. You know what? I got to take this back, everything I just said here, because you know why? My aunt just goes like, she'll kill me when I get off the air. I don't like the way you talk to Chris like that. Chris is like a guy. Oh, loves you. She loves you. She loves you, dude. I'm not kidding you, man. I'm not kidding. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, good, man. I appreciate everybody coming aboard. And as I said to you guys, week 4, the end, man, the weekend and last night, it really topped off what was a spectacular weekend of football. I have not seen a better weekend, college and pro, in the last 20 years. All the upsets we saw on Saturday, I mean, right, just everywhere. Oregon got beat, like I said it a few times now. I thought that Mario Cristobal had a football team that was going to do some damage this year and potentially get into that college playoff. Now it's going to be questionable if they get into the playoff, because I don't know if they have another team on that schedule that's going to be conducive to helping them move up the chain there. I do think this helps Ohio State, Oregon getting beat, that the Buckeyes can maybe elevate themselves. But college football was great on Saturday. It really, I mean, Arkansas, I was so pulling for them. You know, I wanted to see Arkansas, but I mean, they just got their fannies kicked in. Alabama beat Ole Miss. Georgia annihilated Arkansas. I mean, those two teams are the best two teams in the country. I don't really know. I think it's Alabama, Georgia, and then it's really everybody else. And they're kind of like filling in the blanks. Cincinnati taking out Notre Dame. At Notre Dame, okay? Luke Finkel will be the next head football coach, mark my words, at USC. And the reason I say that is because that dude's AD that used to be at Cincinnati is now the AD at USC. And he has built a program there in Cincinnati. That Bearcat program, they're good. They're good. They may be the best team in the state of Ohio, and that includes Ohio State. That'd be some football game. OSU versus Cincinnati. UC's good, man. UC is good. And think of this for a minute. That may be the best football team that they have ever had in the 130 some odd years of that program. Right? And that's the biggest win they've ever had in the history of Cincinnati Bearcat football, beating Notre Dame. Notre Dame was the top 10 football program, maybe a top 5 program. and they beat them. They beat them pretty handily. That was pretty telling. Cincinnati belongs in that conversation to be in the Final Four. And you know what? There's no way the conference commissioners want to see Cincinnati roll out the rest. They've got some difficult games. SMU's undefeated. By the way, cool for the Ponies, man. College football and the NCAA destroyed that football program. And I so pull for SMU. I do. I so pull for them. I get recruited by SMU back in the day. I was so close to going, but obviously because of all the probation back in the 80s that they had, that was a great football program. Eric Dickerson comes out of there. Michael Carter came out of there, silver medalist and 3-time Super Bowl champion nose guard. Jerry Ball came out of there. There are so many good football players that came out of that Ron Myers football program. I was so close to going. I love the helmet. I love they're right there on Greenville Avenue. I love that program. Greenville Avenue in Dallas. It's really a great section, you know, all the restaurants and such. It's really a great place, man. It's a super school. It kind of reminds me of the University of Miami. It's a private institution, and they put them on the death penalty. Get this, after they did that, no other college football program has ever had the death penalty put on them because they saw what it did to SMU. And you know how SMU got put on that death penalty? Everybody in the Southwest Conference, Texas, Texas A&M, Arkansas, all those schools, they teamed up on SMU and had them put out of business. They had to slow them down somehow because everybody wanted to go to SMU. Why? Because they were getting paid. There's no doubt about it. By the way, that booster dude that was paying all those players back in the day is still a relevant guy in the program today. Wasn't like the governor all wrapped up into that thing too? He was an SMU guy himself. I mean, that was some story. You ever watch that ESPN special that they did on SMU? You should watch it. It's pretty compelling. No program to this day. And now they're paying kids. The new nil laws and such, all the things that SMU were doing back in the day, they're doing today. That was a really good program. I'm happy to see them back on their feet again. And I always root for SMU. So the college games were really great, man. I mean, they were. Somebody asked me, who's the top 5 teams in the country in your eyes? Well, it's Bama, Georgia, and then fill it in. I don't care. Iowa, Penn State, one of those teams is going to get beat on the weekend. Cincinnati's in the conversation. Oklahoma's in the conversation. But we'll see what happens in a couple weeks here. But Georgia, hey, know this. The Southeastern Conference, follow me here on this one here. The Southeastern Conference championship game between Georgia and Alabama will be tougher to win than the national championship. The national championship game is going to be an aftermath. Winning the SEC, it's going to be harder. Because Georgia and Alabama, two best, that's a sad, both those teams, by the way, are going to make it. They're probably going to play one another again in the national championship game. That's what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? They're going to play each other in the SEC title game. Then they're going to play each other in the national championship game. That's what you're rolling towards right now, which would mean a disaster, I think, for the college football playoff. Just two best teams, and then it's everybody else. All right. I've been saying this to you for the last 2 weeks because it's true. You know, when I was playing in the NFL, every single coordinator and every single coach and every single talent evaluator, general manager, people in the personnel department, they always wait until week 4 concluded. And what they do is they give you a book on the trends of your team. And they tell you the things you need to work on, and they tell you the things that you are doing well. And what they do is they basically form an identity on who you are. You get a sense of whether or not these teams are true contenders or pretenders as we move forward into the next quarter pole of the season. Now we add the 17th game, so it's kind of skewed a little bit, but there's 4 quarters in a season. Every 4 games, you get a different view of what this particular team is. And there were some compelling things. Let's start it off with Cowboys and Panthers. Cowboys now run their record 3-1. I've already given you kind of an assessment a little bit here tonight of where I see this football team. They win 36-28 over Carolina. They did it in Big D. Dallas is playing fast on defense. Their identity right now, spread the ball out and control the clock with Dak. They're getting after people on defense, get them off the field. I really think their special teams has actually been also a story that not a lot of people are talking about, but they're running the ball these last 2 weeks very effectively. And when you look at the numbers, I mean, for Dak doesn't have to go out and throw the ball 52 times. You don't want to see that number for a quarterback. I mean, think about it, for instance. Dak Prescott has 188 yards throwing the ball. That's not a bad thing. That's a fabulous thing because that necessarily means that your running game is going. And Ezekiel Elliott had 143 yards rushing. Dude, game's over. When you get Dak throwing for 4 touchdowns and you get a running attack where you got a back going for almost 150 yards, that game won't be close. Are the Cowboys a contender for a Super Bowl right now? October 4th? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am sold on them. Could that change? That's why every quarter poll will be doing this. Carolina Panthers. Is it smoke and mirrors? I think it's a little smoke and mirrors because I don't really think they've beaten anybody of significance. They beat a couple rookie quarterbacks at 3-1. They're not a bad team. Has Sam Darnold turned it around? Sam Darnold threw for 300 yards against the Cowboys. The Panthers are much improved. They need to get Christian McCaffrey back, though, if they're going to be a player. Browns and Vikings. Browns win 14-7. I mean, again, Baker Mayfield got mad at me on Twitter because I called him out because I think he holds that team back. They're 3-1. Okay, it's okay to beat a 1-3 Vikings team. Vikings are not going anywhere. I don't know what the hell happened to them. Mike Zimmer, the head coach of the Vikings, will probably be cut at the end of the year. I mean, Kirk Cousins threw for only 200 yards in the ball game. What the hell ever has happened to Dalvin Cook? He had 34 yards rushing. Browns defense is spectacular. Nick Chubb had 100 yards rushing. Baker Mayfield had 155 yards throwing the ball. And that's why they're still looking at whether or not he's the guy. The Browns have a great roster. I just don't think they have a great quarterback. Are they a playoff team? Yeah. But are they a contender for the Super Bowl? Not with that guy quarterbacking. Not with that guy quarterbacking. They are not. I don't believe in him. There's some talk show hosts that believe he's the guy. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet to a wide receiver this year. The Bears. Hey, man, these are two teams that are not playoff teams. I think the Bears are going through a transition. They need to fire that coach, Matt Nagy. They really do. He's just not a very good coach. I mean, he's had enough time there. Now, Justin Fields gets the start. He looked a lot better, threw for 200 yards. They win the ball game against the Lions, 24-14. Lions are now 0-4 on the season. You know the Lions may not win a ball game this year. Jared Goff, 299. Great. Okay, I don't know. I think they're playing harder, but they may not win a ball game. How about this Bills team? Boy, are they good. This is the second shutout in 3 weeks for them defensively. And I said that going into this year, I thought that the Bills defensively maybe walked back from 2 years ago. You got 2 shutouts already? Holy cow, that's spectacular. They put another goose egg up, and they did it against the Texans. Not really a great, achievement when you've got people on that football team. You can't even, I don't even know who the quarterback is. What's his name? Mills or something? They beat him 40-0, but tell you what, Buffalo and Josh Allen, 248, 3 touchdowns. They ran the ball effectively with Singletary. They got a good football team. And boy, do I think that they are trending up. I really like Buffalo. Colts get a needed win. And you want to hear something crazy? Because the Titans ended up getting beat by the Jets. Colts are 1 game out, and they're 1-3 in the North. They beat the Dolphins 27-17, who are in shambles right now, the Dolphins, because of the quarterback situation. If you don't have the quarterback situation figured out, you can't win in this league. Jacoby Brissett is a fine quarterback. He's not an elite guy, and you're not going to win a division with him. He's good enough to go out and, keep the wheels on, but he's not good enough to go out and win a division. Carson Wentz was effective in the game, threw for 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, they need him to be Jonathan Taylor. He had 100 yards in the game. Pittman was decent in the game. And finally, that offensive line and defensive line for the Colts stepped in. I personally think the Colts, if they could get on a roll here, they could still be in conversation to potentially make the playoffs. We'll see what happens. Am I sold that they're trending up? I don't know. So I'm going to put them in the middle right now because one game against the Dolphins, I'm not going to sit there and say they're trending up. They're taking they took out a very suspect football team right now. Okay? They did. They took out a very suspect football team. Hey, we'll finish it up. Don't forget to get over to our friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. These are our friends. If you're looking to build a home studio, you're looking to get microphones, you're looking to get processors, this is your one-stop place. 25% off everything. Use the promo code Sileo. That's S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. That's S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. Shipping is free. $5 to $5,000. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. We'll pick it up and we'll talk Chiefs and Eagles. Well, Jalen Hurts looked pretty good in this game, but Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns. And the Chiefs get it back going again. We'll look at week 4 next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. It's settled down. It's still kind of like flicker lighting. Yes. I did what? No, I don't do that geeky shit. I mark safe. Yeah, okay, guy. Irony. Why are you dopey?
Did you use the words?
Yeah, really. I love sitting around watching highlight reels of myself. Love it. Just great. Watching a true stud. Don't worry, kid. I'll help you out. You let me know if you need anything. And if it's oxygen, don't call me. Wow. Oh, dude. It's funny. Wow. Well, everybody deals with things differently. You obviously deal with it like a dick. Wow. I have. Yeah. Hey, how's your health, man? Yeah. Good for you. All right, good. Why? What happened? Okay. Restructured. Good for you. I love pizza. I don't know why. There you go. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Thin crust, too, by the way. Colony. Those of you back on the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about. I love that game last night. I love the setting. You know, the rain, Brady, Belichick. It was such a good football game. The drama in it, the doink. You know who ended up getting jobbed and who who had his feelings hurt the most last night? Who do you think had his feelings hurt the most? Al Michaels. He didn't have his "Do you believe in miracles" moment when Brady broke Drew Brees' record last night for the most passing yardage in a career. And because Brady didn't want to stop the momentum, they were in the red zone. They didn't stop it. And believe me, Al Michaels all butthurt and all, really, that was unassuming. Don't worry, Al. It's all right, man. Let me finish on week 4 here. Chiefs and Eagles. How about Patrick Mahomes? He's a stud. I think they've righted the ship 2-2 on the season. The Eagles are in transition. I like what Jalen Hurts did. Giants, they win in overtime. How about the job that Daniel Dimes-Jones did? 402. Jameis Winston, not too bad. Saints are 2-2. Giants 1-3 on the season. They get the win first time. Hey, by the way, how about New York teams? They ended up winning over the weekend. Everybody was betting against them, and they ended up winning over the weekend. It's good stuff, man. Good for them. Dimes-Jones did a nice job. Probably kept Joe Judge's gig. And speaking of the other Jets team, Zach Wilson gets a win. First win as a Jets starting quarterback. They do it in OT again. Hey, is that right? Both New York teams had to go to OT to get the win? Is that right? I think that's correct. Both New York teams had to go to overtime to get their wins. They beat the Titans. That's a big win against the Titans. I mean, look, Derrick Henry still had 157 yards rushing. Washington team, how about that Tyler Hanke kid? 290, gets a win over the Falcons. Hey, they're still in the conversation, but Dallas is going to own the NFC East. Here's the signature game of the weekend. The Cardinals end up pounding the Rams. I mean, 37-10, that thing wasn't close. Kyler Murray is a star. I mean, the Rams were never in that ball game. Best team in football, the Cardinals right now. Who would have said that at the beginning of the year? Jimmy Garoppolo goes down, as usual. Trey Lance comes in. Seattle takes care of business, 28-21. They're back to 2-2. 49ers are 2-2. Who's the playoff team there? Probably Seattle. Ravens, 3-1. They lose the opener against the Raiders. They beat the Broncos, who lose their quarterback as well. Lamar Jackson's in protocol now for concussion. I love Lamar Jackson. He's so good. Steelers are in trouble this year. This could be the first losing season that Mike Tomlin has as a head coach in the NFL. I think this is his 15th year. He's never had a losing season. Packers, they pretty much take care of the Steelers at Lambeau, 27-17. Aaron Rodgers had 2 touchdowns, went for about 250 in the game. That game I've been talking about pretty much all night here, and we'll do a little bit more of that here in the next segment, and really what it meant for Tom Brady to win that game last night, 19-17. Patriots had a chance to win that game. Brady didn't get the passing grade that he wanted going into that game, but they end up pushing the Patriots to 1-3 on the season. Buccaneers are now 3-1. Are the Bucs in the conversation, top 5 teams to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Yeah, and the Jaguars are 0-4, and I don't know. They got a head football coach that likes to get jiggy with it in Ohio, and I don't know. Just not something that you want to have your head football coach. A character issue and unbecoming of a head coach. How about the Bengals, man, and Mike Brown? Is that not great? Joe Burrow, 348 and 2 touchdowns. Dude, that guy, since he came out of LSU, I absolutely love that guy. I do. But a little bit there on that Patriot game. Like I said, the whole setting. Brady walks into Gillette last night, and there was Bob Kraft, or Drew Brees first and then Kraft. And then him and Kraft had a moment, and they were talking about all the things. And you know what I love the most is that after the game, Bill Belichick did this. Bill Belichick, folks, went into the Buccaneer locker room and sat down with Tom Brady in a private conversation for 25 minutes. That is the ultimate. Have you ever heard Bill Belichick give anybody any kudos, especially after a loss in Foxborough? Dude, that's good stuff. 28 million Americans, okay? 28 million Americans watch that game on Sunday night. That was pretty damn good, man. I really loved it. more on that game, more on the significance of that game. We'll reset and keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show.